Welcome in LL Sports Update Week 4. He's Jeff Reinhardt. I'm John Walk. We're going to start right off the top because we have 4 huge games this week, and we are going to begin with our LNP game of the week, Cocalico at Elizabethtown. It is, Jeff, start of league play, yes. Lancaster Lebanon League, Section 1, Section 2, Section 3 play. We'll get to Section 1 a little bit later. We're going to start in Section 2 with our game of the week. Again, Cocalico at E-Town, pair of 3-0 teams. You were out of practice Tuesday night. Tell us what's going to happen there.
Fun game, really fun game. Kind of contrasting styles. Cocalico has been phenomenal, really, here. 3 wins, tons of crooked numbers. Their running game's been awesome. Noah Palm, the sophomore quarterback, we knew he was going to be a good one. He's been great. Nearly 300 rushing yards, leads the team. 8 for 9 passing. He's only missed on 1 pass. And 3 touchdowns. They're putting up crazy numbers. 69 points against Redland. Last week they put up a huge number on Upper Perkiomen. So Cocalico's been great. 167 points already, 450 yards a game. They're averaging 55 points a game. Great start for the Eagles. They get it done on the ground. Their offensive line has been great. They're going to go veer and pound it, try to win the trench battle and run the ball. Flip it. E-Town, 3-0. Very good defense. 2 shutouts to open the season. As well documented, we've talked about their defense here a lot the first month. Shutout Donegal, shutout Hershey. Gave up some points to Lebanon last week, but they win. They go to 3-0. Defense has only given up about 250 yards a game. They've bent a little bit. Lebanon got some points, but they're 3-0, playing great. Devin Clare, the sophomore linebacker, oh my gosh, his numbers just jump off the page when you look. 27 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss. 6 sacks? He's got 6 sacks already, and he's forced 3 fumbles. So we got Cocalico and its running attack over here. We got E-Town and its really razor-sharp defense over here. E-Town has to stop Cocalico. It's as simple as that.
It's going to be a good matchup.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic matchup. So as mentioned, we were at practice this week. Tyler Huber was out there with me. He got a chance to talk with Cocalico coach Dave Gingrich, E-Town coach Bill McDonald. Let's share those interviews here with you now. Tyler, take it away.
So, Coach, 3-0, E-Town 3-0, and you guys are 3-0. What is the plan? What's the game plan, really, to take down another undefeated team?
Well, we just got to take care of ourselves. We got to worry about what we do. We can't really worry so much about, their situation. They are 3-0. They're playing really well, but we've always been a team that's tried to take care of what we do, and that's what we're going to focus on this week at practice, getting better, and just try to play the best game we can on Friday night.
If we're going to stop them, we're going to have to play our best defensive football game to date, and so we're working on that this week. If we execute the game plan offensively and defensively, at the end of the day, we'll let the chips fall where they may. We're just working on putting things together this week, and we'll see how it goes.
Thank you, Tyler, for that. Really anxious for Cocalico at E-Town on Friday. Another huge Section 2 game this week. 2 more undefeated teams hooking up. LS and Manheim Central. That should be a great game. Tell us about it.
Absolutely. We saw Lampeter Strasburg the last 2 weeks, back and forth battles. Week 2, lower scoring game with Penn Manor. They pulled that one out. I believe it was 25-21. And then last week, the overtime game, second week in a row, Conestoga Valley went to overtime. LS ends up pulling it out there. By the way, back-to-back weeks, Todd Shelley to Mark Wilson, the eventual game-winning scorer. So keep that in mind. High-octane LS offense. We predicted it last week. It ended up happening. However, this is probably their biggest, it is their biggest test of the season so far against a Manheim Central team that has just been steamrolling opponents to this point. Tyler Flick, the running back, league-leading rusher, and their quarterback there, Evan Simon, only a sophomore, but that dude can absolutely ball. Yeah. He had a big game last week of 361 passing yards, probably his best passing performance to this point. So they can run, they can pass. By the way, I don't know if the Manheim Central defense has truly been tested, so they'll get a big test this week with that, well-balanced, but they like to rely on the pass a little bit more, Todd Shelley and Lampeter Strasburg. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be a big game. By the way, you would think, I was thinking Manheim Central's probably dominated this matchup the last couple of years. They've split that. Manheim Central won last year, LS won in 2015. So you got to think that's going to be a good one. Another one that we're going to move on to up in Section 1, Warwick is going to Wilson. Warwick 2-1, Wilson 1-2. I believe they lost 2 of their first 3 games. Yeah. So it's uncharacteristic of the Bulldogs. What should we expect to happen there?
Yeah, well, let's get the big number out here first. Wilson comes into this game 64 Section 1 wins in a row going back to 2007. So here we go. We can start talking about the streak again. Wilson 1-2. Yeah, wow, that's a shocker. They've only rushed for 200 yards. They had an injury on the offensive line. Price didn't play the first couple of weeks, so they've had a mix and match up front. Hence, Iggy Reynoso really hasn't busted out yet. He scored some touchdowns. He actually caught 7 passes last week, but he hasn't had a 100-yard rushing game yet, which is kind of rare for Iggy Reynoso, because he should be Burks' all-time leading rusher till it's all said and done. Wilson, odd to say, but Wilson's kind of still looking for an identity. I can't believe that just came out of my mouth. Warwick's been great. They did test Manheim Central. You said Manheim really hasn't had a whole lot of tests yet. They scored 27 unanswered. Remember? They scored 27 unanswered.
That was after Manheim went up 35
to nothing.
So maybe they were, not giving it as good of an effort that
perhaps
they should have.
Agreed. Since then, Warwick's been unbelievable. Back-to-back 60-point games, 69 against Garden Spot, 61-0 last week against Stafford.
Still averaging 2 touchdowns per quarter.
They are.
The last, 10, 14 quarters?
10, 13 quarters. 500 yards a game, 52 points per game. Interesting, this game. Grayson Klein, Warwick's quarterback, is a...
Oh, yeah, Wilson transfer.
He's a Wilson transfer. So I'm sure they're picking his brain in the locker room a little bit this week, do you think?
Right.
Yeah, Wilson might have to change some signs or something.
But this is on the road. It's going to be a big test for them.
Big time. Klein almost 800 passing yards, 8 touchdowns. Carter Forney's been great, 20 catches, 8 touchdown catches. He's been amazing. So Warwick's offense against a Wilson team that's still kind of searching. I'm sure those guys are spitting angry mad that they're 1-2, and they want to get the streak to 65. We'll see how that one goes. Another big Section 1 game, Manheim Township goes over and gets their arch rival, Hempfield. That's always fun no matter what sport they're playing. Township at Hempfield, what do you like there?
Right, and speaking of a Wilson team that is still kind of searching for its identity and might be a little bit mad, Manheim Township kind of fits that category. We saw 2 big wins to start the year, and then last week got shellacked 49-14 to Governor Mifflin. Got absolutely nothing going on offense. I went back and looked over my notes. Okay, outside of that respender return that put them within the 20, I think on the first or second possession of the game. If you look at all other Township possessions from that game, they didn't get beyond the 36-yard line of Wilson territory. So they barely got anything going offensively. But again, Governor Mifflin, they got shellacked in week 2 against Cocalico, and they came back and they beat up on Township. So maybe Township, a wake-up call for them that's going to get them stern. And they talked about, tightening the screws in the preseason and being a bit more disciplined. Maybe that'll wake them up a little bit. The interesting thing there, Hempfield last week, I was going back over their stats, they gave up 254 passing yards a week ago. Manheim Township can pass the ball. They have like 5 or 6 top-notch receivers. Reese Bender leads the group there, but they have capable receivers who can really get it moving through the air. My only other concern out of last week, that I don't think Township really has an every down back just yet, and maybe that's by design. But when you really need to pick up 3 or 4 yards, I don't know that they have a back that they can turn to and rely on that. So there's some things to work on for Township, certainly. But,
no doubt.
This is going to be a big game for them because we think Township, you predicted them to win Section 1.
I have them winning
If they're
the
going to do
section.
that, they got to beat Hempfield
Got
this
to beat
week.
Hempfield. And they're going to have one eye on the scoreboard at the Wilson game.
Right. So that's going to be a big game. And Hempfield, they've been playing really well so far. Wins over York Adams League top teams, Dallastown and Central York. They hung close at the really good Exeter team. I believe in week 2 and lost. I think that was only a 1-score game that they ended up losing by. So Hempfield's off to a really hot start, and they could prove themselves to be a Section 1 contender with that game. Okay, high school football. That's it for us. Now, Penn State at Iowa, night game. Mike Gross stopped by to chat about that game coming up this Saturday. He's going to have that coverage. We throw to Mike.
Penn State at Iowa, Saturday night, 7:30 in Iowa City. It's the Big Ten opener for both teams. It's the first road game for Penn State and really Penn State's first serious test. Iowa is 3-0. The Nittany Lions are an 11.5-point favorite. It's a contrast in styles here. We're talking about a big play, explosive, go for the home run offense in Penn State's case against kind of a grinded out power running game for Iowa. That's the matchup. It should be a good one. It's Penn State and Iowa at Iowa City Saturday night, and I'm Mike Gross for LancasterOnline.com.
Thank you for that, Mike. I got to tell you, I've become a Nittany Lion buff. I've watched every second of every game.
Fun to watch.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun to watch, so I'm anxious for this Iowa game. We'll see how that goes. Big Ten opener. Okay, 2 more quick LL football items to touch on. Number 1, Player of the Week was Ray Godwin from McCaskey. Tornado gets in the W column last week. They beat Reading, and Godwin went crazy. 274 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns in the win. Make sure you click on the interview. We have an interview with Godwin from practice this week. Congrats, Ray. Secondly, make sure you check LancasterOnline for the feature this week. John was at Anvil Cleona. He's writing about the Little Dutchman. Make sure you click on that. Okay, last up this week, we have a Glory Days. John, take it away.
Yeah, and thanks to you guys for sending in submissions this week. We have a lot that'll keep us jam-packed over these next few weeks. This week is timely. Columbia is hosting Donegal, and in this week's game, Columbia, 3 members will be inducted into its Athletic Hall of Fame. Those 3 members are Dennis Bachman, who was a 3-year letterman in football who won the 1961 Offensive Lineman and Defensive Player of the Year awards. Thomas Smith, a 5-time varsity letter winner, 3 in track, 2 in basketball. He was a member of the 1963-64 boys basketball team that won the county championship and a member of the 1963 mile relay team that won the state title at the Penn Relays. And Michael Seibert, he was an all-section, all-league, all-state selection in basketball in 2008, as well as an all-league selection in baseball in 2007 and 2008. So again, Dennis Bachman, Thomas Smith, Michael Seibert, congrats to those guys being inducted into the Columbia Athletic Hall of Fame this week at the football game, and we figured it'd be a good tie-in for the Glory Days. With that being said, guys, we're always open to taking more submissions for the Glory Days segment. So if you have anything from the last year, last 10 years, last 50 years, whatever, it could be you, it could be your parents. Get the picture, send it in to sports@lnpnews.com with either the picture, if it's a player, their name, if it's a team, what team it was, what year it was, any other information that you want to include there, and we will include it right here in the Glory Days segment of the LL Sports Update video. That'll do it for week 4. He's Jeff Reinhardt. I'm John Walk. Thanks to you guys for watching.